Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and mental health and why that needs to be a priority of every company in America. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. A lot of companies across the country are dealing with mental health issues that just cropped up. And can you blame them? Anxiety, stress, it's causing a lot of problems, especially for those employees who work from home. To talk about that right now, Linda Mullins, she's with the Inspired Leadership Group. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Very cool. And you work on these wellness retreats where you really can help a leadership team and their company get their arms around this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're comprised of functional medicine doctors, mental wellness professionals, peak performance coaches, and some fitness trainers in there too. So it's not all fitness, but it's absolutely integrative wellness, so every aspect of the person.
It seems like mental health is a topic that has not gotten a ton of attention until now, and it really, I mean, it was probably a problem before the pandemic, but now it's just been times 10, right?
Yeah, times 10 at least, right? So it's always been something taboo, right? For all the years that we've been around. That said, the suicide rates with our military guys and girls and the burnout rate with our executives and employees has just skyrocketed. It actually became a diagnosis code, burnout, from the World Health Organization in May of 2019, just a year and a half ago. They're finally saying, wow, it's like cardiac disease or diabetes.
Well, and we all got thrown off our game, right? I'm a people person. I need to be around other people. The only time I can think of in my adult life when I suffered any bouts of depression at all was when I was trapped at home for 6 weeks.
Isn't it?
And so, and I consider myself one of those, bounce out of bed, one day is always going to be better than the last, right? So if it happens to me, I can see it happening, across the country.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I'm the same personality type as you, right? I'm very gregarious, I'm outgoing, very social. In fact, I had to be outside so much during COVID. I live alone, which is also a different kind of stressor from living with families and kids, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, I really am alone. And so I had to be outside all the time exercising or working out or something just to get some sense. And then we were all Zoomed to death. I don't know about you.
Yes.
Whew. I mean, we worship online, we have happy hour online, and we have business back-to-back Zoom meetings. So it was mind-numbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got some pictures from your website about your leadership retreats. Talk about, the venues, talk about, what happens at your retreats.
Sure. This is Ritz-Carlton Santa Barbara. That's considered our home base. I lived in California at the time, but I also believe coastal and mountains, anything real nice nature, is conducive to wellness and a reset, right? So we do Tuscany 1 to 2 times a year, depending. Obviously not this year. That'll be next May. We prefer 4 to 5 star resorts, more boutique-y than massive, because we really want the clients to get away. And we'd love them to digital detox. We don't mandate it. It's not rehab, right? But we try and encourage it strongly.
Sure.
That they're removing themselves from their phone and their email and all of that good stuff, because that's part of the challenge we have right now, social media and the bombardment we all have with that exterior data. They'll have a lot of respite time built in, which is really important. It's different from the wellness retreat I owned before. You would have 5 hours of workouts a day in my Florida retreat. Now, it's exactly opposite. You have 1 hour of workout. You've got a couple of hours of white space, which we don't fill up on purpose. And you've got a concierge individual appointment with the functional medicine doctor or the alternative medicine functional person that's there. I won't say they're all functional medicine docs, but they're for the physical well-being portion. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then you'll have a little time off, and then the next day, every alternating day, you'll have a couple of sessions with each practitioner: mental wellness, physical wellness, and then the executive coach. So you've got a team of 4 or 5 practitioners, and we use the physical practitioners from either the retreats or that local area.
And in terms of like the value to the company, there's bonding that happens that probably wouldn't happen ordinarily.
Yeah. Yeah, and please forgive me, I was kind of referring a little more just to the executive leader retreat.
Yeah.
Because they're, we believe put the different connotation now, putting the mask on yourself first.
Yes.
And then you can help your people or your family,
Sure,
right?
sure.
But the corporate well-being retreats, that's a different slant. We've all known of corporate offsites, right?
Yeah.
We go, and a lot of them, even if they're like sales, President's Club or award trips, a lot of people go to Pebble and they golf and drink, or they go to Vegas and they party, and but you don't really come back kind of refreshed and renewed necessarily. So the corporate well-being, there's team building involved, of course, and much more bonding, to your point, because we kind of get to share a little bit as much as the group wants to, right? Nothing's forced. It's got to be organic. But with the type of coaches and professionals that I employ, they have a knack for bringing out the good stuff and getting it to the level it needs to be done. And then they'll have the individual sessions as well when need be.
And you also do one-day retreats.
Yes, and that's actually a newer offering because I see the need so dramatically. Many organizations, as you know, they're not all yet ready to go away or do multi-day offsites. The one day well-being day, I can't say it. One day well-being day incorporates all of the components of the multi-day retreat in one day. So it's just kind of pushing the reset button, and that's what we call it. We call it a reset, not a retreat, right?
Yes.
So it's a reset because resets your mind, resets your body, resets your joy. And so we have a lot of fun with those days. And again, the functional medicine and the psychologist and the fitness trainers, all of them are part of the day. So we do a turnkey presentation or turnkey offering to organizations. And that, whether they're a big corporation or small or mid-cap, all of them are going through the same thing. Some of the organizations have more ability or different leadership in place where they're already kind of approaching that curve a little faster, but I believe we're kind of a forerunner in this without question.
And bosses that are forward thinking really need to get on board this train.
Yes.
It's getting worse.
Yes.
You and I were talking off camera about Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Cowboys. Went through a depression, obviously, after his brother committed suicide, and it became a big national story because a sports commentator criticized him for seeking help. The stigma has got to go away.
That's an unconscionable result from Dak coming,
Yes.
Just telling us all, right? And that's part of the problem. And really, in all of the deep conversations I've had with different professionals in the space of the mental wellness space, our first responders, our police officers, our Army, military people. I say Army, but three of my family members were in the military.
Sure.
So all of them are going through it, and we're all going through it too. And but to have it be taboo anymore, right, is really a problem. And what I've seen over even the last 18 months since it was diagnosed, burnout was diagnosed, a diagnosis code, what I've seen is, especially since COVID, the elevation of the speaking about it. So if you see all the posts on LinkedIn and you talk to executives, now people are becoming a little more comfortable with it. That said, a lot of bravado type people still have an issue with it and a wall. And that's part of the challenge with with either treating them or helping them to become their best self if they're not able to admit that they could use some help.
Sure.
So I thought what he did was tremendous for making it okay.
And it does seem like work-life balance has been thrown off, especially for those remote workers. I mean, how do you separate work from personal?
That's the question of the ages now, because and we say work-life harmony, right? Because the balance is, let's be real, the balance may not ever get there, but the harmony can be. You can, but you have to have boundaries. And I can tell you, I confess, I don't always have them, right? I'm lingering into the 7 o'clock hour sometimes when I really should have finished an hour and a half earlier.
Right.
But especially, I think it might be a little easier. This may sound silly, but you tell me. Might be a little bit easier with families where we have to break off to feed the kids. Right? And we have to help them do their homework. So I could be totally off base. Everybody will tell me if I am.
No, I think you're right on, and bosses today have to recognize that sometimes their employee is also a school teacher that day, or daycare worker, and they have to make allowances for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I've heard from so many friends and colleagues how just excruciating this time has been. And I'm a very impatient person by nature, and I found early on, I was like, why aren't they calling me back? Why aren't they, why aren't they engaging? And it was like, I can't even imagine the overwhelm.
Yes.
With teaching kids at home and having your spouse, I'm certain they love each other, all spouses. And that said, they're not used to all being together.
Yes.
And that, that's like the olden days.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think you're awesome. Do you have some retreats coming up that they need to know about, or how do they get plugged in?
Yes, yeah. Well, they can always go to the website, inspiredleadershipgroup.com.
Okay.
Okay. But on the 23rd, up in Plano at the Nature and Retreat Center, we're actually having a one-day well-being day. We're calling it Passport to Wellness.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we're doing that on 10/23, and it's like an 8:30 to 3:30 thing with all the practitioners, a lot of fun. And November retreat is slated the second week of November for Clearwater Beach. Yay, who needs a beach vacation? I do.
Outstanding. We're going to put the website up to end this segment. InspiredLeadershipGroup.com is the website. Linda Mullins, you have been such an inspiration. I sure appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate being here, Jeff.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.